me, but I'm Danny Tack, Director of Product Strategy and Planning, and mainly responsible for picture quality. Seeing the short time, I cannot do a very extensive PowerPoint presentation, but I don't need, I think I'll let the products speak, and we'll do quite some demo. But still, a little bit of background on the demos and on the range. And here you see the first half range of 2K16, starting from entry 4000 up to premium 8.9. Actually, the premium 8.6 and 8.9 have been launched late last year, but of course are in our portfolio for first half. And yeah, a couple of the key highlights or top features of the TVs and background. Starting with the yellow bar, the differences in direct LED, edge LED, and 2D dimming direct LED. So the 7.6, that tiny yellow block there, is a very important one. I will do a demo on that one. And then 8.6 and 8.9 direct edge LED again. The direct LED ones in the entry and mainstream are quite different from the direct LED in the 7.6. It's direct LED global dimming in the mainstream, where in the 7.6 it's 2D dimming direct LED, which is with individual segments really sophisticated. That is not the case in entry and mainstream. You see the number of nits coming out of those panels per range, and then you see the split up in the pink between Full HD and the UHD range. So from 6.1 onwards, it's all UHD, plus of course upscaling, because still we do not have a lot of 4K sources in our homes. And then the next bar that comes is one maybe to spend a couple more words on. You see 200 Hertz frame rate there. This does not mean 200 Hertz native panels, because they do not exist. Many times in those sessions I get these questions or these remarks, or somebody tells me, hey, Samsung showed again a 200 Hertz panel. No, there is no 200 Hertz panel. But like the others are claiming that 100 Hertz plus scanning backlight is a 200 Hertz panel, we will claim also that same thing. Having said that, the reason we can do is because that's the bottom line, the red one. We're moving actually from perfect motion rate to picture performance index, which is actually now where perfect motion rate was only looking at motion or using the motion features to make up a commercial or marketing number. Now the marketing number is made up by motion elements, sharpness, color, and contrast elements, the whole engine. So you see also that the link with our engine name is quite tight there, and yeah, the higher your engine name or the higher the number, the better your engine is. Because because it's now more than motion in that number, in the perfect picture index, we don't use hertz anymore there. We now apply it again back on the top line. But something additionally to add to the 200 Hertz frame rate, you can see it actually on the left side. The 4000, 52, 55 are all 50 Hertz frame rates. Although they also do scanning backlight, we do not claim 100 Hertz there, because we do not have natural motion inside there. So it is the combination of three things. It's a combination of the panel refresh rate, which is roughly always half of what is put there, plus scanning backlight, plus natural motion. So only from when we are having a good natural motion, which is the case from 6.1 and up, we are claiming then double frame rate of the native Hertz panel. Okay. Having said that, coming to the blue line, micro dimming line, Pro and Premium. And I would like to now take a minute for a demo of our premium performance. And I'll do that there. So, the right-hand side TV here is our new 7.6, 65-inch, and I'm shooting it against an edge-lit, which is actually the one just below, which is a 7.1. So 7.1 versus 7.6, 7.1 edge-lit, 7.6 2D dimming, direct LED with 500 nit full light, and 700 nit peak, which means actually that this 7.6 is giving now a better performance than our previous 9000. Our previous 9000 2D dimming set was only 500 nit full white and peak white, and this one now is 500 full but 700 nit peak. So this 7.6 is a better version in this price class now than our previous 9000. For your reference, you can see left and right from those TVs, the smaller ones, are the technology showcases of how a 2D dimming technology works. You can see it in the cutout of the screen. Right and left is edge-lit, right hand side is how a direct LED works. So you see the LEDs individually going on and off depending on the picture quality. Once more. Questions about that? Remarks? No? Then we move on.
Just picking up on something you sort of said at IFA last year, that you didn't feel that Edge LED was particularly well equipped for HDR, which seems a bit borne out by this. I mean, is it possible, is it for cost reasons that there are not more direct dimming sets in the range? And do you think Edge LED can do HDR properly?
I think edge-lit can do HDR properly. I'll explain you that in a minute. And indeed, it is because of costs that we do not have more 2D dimming LED in the range. I think we now, by moving our 9000 performance down into 7000 range, price range, is already a big step, or quite an achievement. You see that our competitors are even still struggling of doing in their 9s, in their 8s and their 9s 2D dimming. I see that even they choose still to do HLIT, although you see there is a great benefit of 2D dimming. Yes, I would like to go deeper, but step by step. We're making now the first big step, I think. They will probably come because HDR indeed, that it makes sense to do more 2D dimming as I said. Okay. Coming to HDR, because that's my next topic. So this one, you know how it works. The top line is standard TV, and for standard TV, sources had to be mastered at 100 nit. So original source was crushed a lot, and to get it through a standard television. Now with HDR, it's the bottom line, mastered at a much higher light output, reference monitors, 4000 to 10,000 nits. You don't crash so much, so you have more contrast, details, and colors. That's the principle. If you look to what all plays a role around HDR, I would say I would tie it down to, okay, you start with things related around source, you have things related around TV. Within the source you have the content and the devices that will bring the content and the content providers, and you have the mastering of the content. So the devices being Blu-ray will then via HDMI connection come to your TV. Hard disks, portable hard disks, where you can download your HDR movies all through USB to your TV. And streaming, obviously, also a very important candidate for bringing HDR sources through Netflix, to Amazon, to YouTube. Hollywood, not an unimportant group in here. They have now been committing themselves for making all the new movies in HDR. So we can expect, or we hope, that HDR has a better lifetime than 3D, and that it stays longer there. But I have a good feeling. Everybody said from Hollywood said 4K is for us not a big thing or not a big thing off, but together with HDR, they like it very much. So we can expect content to come. Mastering I've mentioned already. And then we have the TV where you also can split up in two parts. You have the processing and you have the display. Now the processing, the first four are about real HDR standards. Open standard, obviously the most important one, and actually adopted now, widely adopted by everybody, including us. So all our HDR TVs will be open standard. Dolby Vision is another candidate not widely adopted in Europe. There's one exception, the announcement of LG at CES. In the States, Dolby Vision has True Visual something, and in China, also a couple of brands there do something with Dolby Vision. But
and Philips in the US.
Philips in the States also, you're right. I always forget them. Yeah, there is currently no real reason to do Dolby Vision. The fact that it is also a more complicated system than Open Standard, and with Open Standard you get the HDR performance from all content which will be created there. So, okay, you're foolproof on having your HDR experience. I've added there two bullets more, like Philips Technicolor and Hybrid Low Gamma. Philips Technicolor, well, Philips is not us. We are TPV, so don't confuse with that. The Philips group in Eindhoven who is working on standards and who is working on HDR, initially competing against the others on an individual basis. They've now at CES made their announcement that they would work together with Technicolor, and they are finding out the details still now, or closing the details on what their offer will be. So their specification is not fully ready yet. Hybrid Low Gamma is another candidate from the BBC. Both, I've put them both there because I think they are potential candidates, good candidates for getting into HDR broadcasting, which I didn't list at the other side yet, because it's not yet known what HDR broadcasting or what broadcasting will choose as a standard. But I think, yeah, just chicken and an egg, and they are exploring those technologies. They're single layer. Philips can create good quality with single layer and good MPEG quality HDR. So, and with single layer means not a lot of bandwidth, which is important for broadcasting. So that's why. Those four are real HDR standards. I've added a fifth bullet, which I call HDR upscaling. And I think, and I already mentioned it at IFA, and I'm more convinced now, even than at IFA, that HDR upscaling is a big thing. Just like upscaling from Full HD to 4K is at this moment important, because, let's face it, there is hardly still 4K sources in your living room, and yet the range is now like 70% of everybody's range is 4K. And we need to give a benefit to those 4 times more pixels. We do that through Full HD upscaling. Same story will be here. HDR will be hardly available in the living room. And if you can do something like HDR effects on your SDR source which is coming in, I think you will, the consumer will like that. And I'll try to convince you of the performance or what HDR upscaling can do. Okay, and then you have put a couple of flavors of displays in here. You see, John, there are a lot of ELEDs. It will start with ELEDs of 400 nit. Some will make, and we will also, because some others do, we will also make HDR sets with that. Of course, the more light you get, to the dimming, I've put to the dimming with the most light on top, because I think that is going to be the best performance. But coming back to this HDR upscaling, I've tried to visualize it a little bit in this sense. When the y-axis is HDR experience, or say picture performance, and on the in the x-axis you have a couple of combinations. It starts with the reference, which I would call reference. Okay, is today's source SDR plus taking now a 400 nit display. And you see I've put already there a tiny bit of orange. And you know what orange means if you read it later on, it's HDR upscaling. But what I'm saying is that today, or last year, we did already HDR upscaling. Because, as I said, the signals are mastered at 100 nit. And TVs are 400 nit. So we do with picture processing already something which you could put under the umbrella of HDR upscaling. Now with the insights of HDR for our 16 range, even on the same source and the same display, we are adding more processing which gives you HDR look and feel than we did in 15, like gamma corrections, like color corrections extra, that kind of stuff. Of course, I will not deny that although I think HDR is great or will help the consumer to give an extra benefit, the real source plus the same display, which is the third block, will give you a better performance. The same goes for the second couple, which is based on 700 nit display. So more light means they will both be better than the 400 nit. And again, but here you see that I also, the HDR upscaling increased the size again. Simply because when there's more light in your display, there's more room for us, for picture processing, to do a better job. That's why I've increased that HDR upscaling there. And the same goes for the next couple. Basically, the first couple is 6571. We have below down there, we have still a 6.4, but that's on 350 nit, so that's why I did not add that in there. The 8601 is an actually 700 nit, and then the 7.6, as I just demonstrated with 2D dimming, is giving the best performance in our Philips range. The full overview of our range in HDR looks like this. So from 6.4 and up, we're going to have HDR10 open standard. So HDMI 2.0A. We will do in every set the HDR upscaling, and 7.6 and 8.6 we will call them HDR premium because of the more light we do in the display. So we have a better real or HDR effect on real HDR source, but better upscaling. And the other ones we will call HDR plus. The 8.6 and 8.9, which were introduced at the end of last year, introduced without HDR, will get their software upgrade in the course of 16. Soon after we have launched 7.6 with HDR, they will get their upgrade.
Is the A601 700 nits peak brightness? What's the full screen brightness?
Full, it's an actually, so full and peak is 700.
Same.
And you're not intending to use the UHD Alliance branding, Ultra
To
HD
be honest,
Premium?
those TVs, as the standard stands now, will not meet the UHD Alliance
It's
spec,
2000 nits.
because
Yeah,
that's
1000
1,000
nits.
and not 700 is not enough. But
Is it only the nits or is it also the color?
It's the nits, it's the color, and now I'm gonna say it, it's actually also, for instance, your 2D dimming quality. This 2D dimming quality, and you know I've done many demos on 2D dimming. One of the disadvantages of 2D dimming is halos around bright objects. The more peak brightness you put in a 2D dimming set, the bigger your halo comes if you can't deal in a proper way with it. So, no, we will not be UHD premium, but I still question then if you would put a UHD premium with 1000 net peak, with lousy halos on your 2D dimming, next to our 7.6 with 700, only 700 net, but with good halos, which one you would prefer? Well, I would know it. So no, we will not have UHD premium, but I think the 7.6 will be a gorgeous HDR product.
If a source like a movie is encoded in Dolby Vision, will it be recognized as HDR or no?
We cannot do anything with Dolby Vision.
So it's just
Okay,
the
so it's-
HDR10 base layer that
We are only HDR10. Yeah.
Okay, so yeah.
You can keep on asking questions, but I will start up the HDR demo.
But Danny, is it so that if there is a Dolby included, the normal HDR must be also in it, in the stream? So you can see the HDR anyway, but not the
Exactly.
Dolby. Yeah. Okay. Just to
That's
clarify.
indeed the reason why I'm saying, actually there is not now, there's not a really burning reason to do Dolby Vision because all content will be open standard. True. Not all content will be Dolby Vision. So if you have all HDR content now, the better choice or the real good choice, and that's what everybody did, is to do open standard. Okay, what is the demo? The demo is two 7.6s, as I just demoed you there, identical TVs side by side. But the left one is playing The Great Gatsby in SDR. The right one is playing The Great Gatsby in HDR. This is the HDR grade of Great Gatsby. Settings of the TV are the same. Both are in movie mode. Now, what I'm going to do now, so I guess most of you, I wouldn't say, oh man, most of you like this one. I have to, because HDR is the biggest invention now this year, so. Okay, but if I do this, so if I go from movie to vivid, which one do you like now? Please stand in the middle to make your judgment.
Look at the sky, for example.
The
Yeah,
water
okay.
is so bluish
But,
on the right side.
so you don't like the right one? Or you
The right one is bad colors in the
Okay,
water.
good. So you see, he disagrees with you. So good to
Yeah,
have a
I
disagreement.
don't mind that. we don't actually know what the color of the water should be.
True. But I can tell you that, talking about color, the grade of an HDR is always more colorful than the grade.
Mm.
That's what you saw, because I started off with showing you movie mode. And in movie mode, we do not do any picture processing. What I've done here is, I've moved it to vivid.
Mm.
Now I moved it to a lot of picture processing. Actually, to do what I would call our HDR upscale.
Yeah.
And I brought it,
If you look at the sky, it's full of MPEG.
yeah, it's there also.
It's
in
there
the-
also,
it's
but
in the
not that
source.
visible.
But it's a general impression. Don't pin to one element. The general impression of both pictures. Would you agree this one went up in performance or not?
No. I think
I
it's
will
like
ask.
like putting the treble and bass to the loud.
Then, you would not agree, I think some people already had it previous groups, many people say, okay, this one went up in performance.
Mhm.
I'll do this one, also move it now to Vivid, because I can do picture processing on HDR signal also. So you will not like this one either, I guess.
No.
What is the rest of the group thinking?
That's nice.
We can go to black and white television again also
Yes.
if we wanted to.
So my point is a bit with HDR upscaling, so bring it to Vivid, yeah, we can do a step. And of course, yeah, I can make even HDR better if you like picture processing, if you like a vivid, sharp, detailed picture. And yes, there is maybe then somewhere, because the source is imperfect, you see a bit of noise, but look, I was putting this picture still for like 5 minutes. Now that it is playing, I think, gorgeous effect. Both are now again identical. Huh?
Yeah.
This is SDR source with vivid processing. This is HDR source with vivid processing.
Yeah.
Okay? I'll let it play, and in the next clip I will reverse again to make you happy again.
They both look horrible in their own ways.